Blockland is a civic effort, community-wide, all-hands-on-deck effort to make Cleveland incredibly relevant in the blockchain space when it comes to business and government applications, with the goal of making Cleveland relevant in the entire tech community. So that at the end of the day, companies move here and hire people. So it's about jobs, 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 jobs.
The trip to Toronto was great in a few ways. One, it was great learning for a lot of us who really didn't know a lot about blockchain and learning the basics. It was great to see Blockchain Research Institute and what they do and how the amount of work that has gone into to really putting a lot of thought around how blockchain will affect the world. But also it was great for these different folks from Cleveland representing different parts of leadership in the community to spend time really gelling and talking about, thinking about, putting together ideas and plans and visions for what this could be for our community and how we could benefit blockchain and blockchain can benefit Cleveland.
It's very hard to get momentum from a grassroots orientation. It's hard given the complexities and maybe some of the limitations of the traditional ways of doing economic development to build that community. Blockland's like 180 degrees opposite. While Bernie certainly is kind of the spiritual leader of Blockland, it is a bottom-up initiative that has people up and down the power structure or whatever, however you want to describe it, that are participating and involved.
Cleveland's potential is whatever we make it. The fact that for this effort, you have a number of community leaders, a number of volunteers. When we have our meetings, the meetings start to capacity. I am working with various attorneys at my competitor law firms, but we're all working together on a common effort. You look at the universities, they're doing the same. So it's the perfect collaboration, and that's why it will be Cleveland.
I think it's important that both words are in there, research and innovation. We're really strong in research in Cleveland. We've got fantastic research universities here that already are collaborating together to advance digital innovation strategies. But we don't think that developing new knowledge alone is going to take us where we want to go. We've got to do something with that knowledge, and that's where the innovation piece comes in.
Well, I co-chair the Philanthropy Committee. And it's a very important committee because our committee is charged with making sure no one is left behind. We are looking at blockchain for social good and how do we ensure that there's complete inclusion in this blockchain effort.
I am the co-chair of the entrepreneurial node with Ray Leach from Jumpstart. And we're basically focused on a number of things. The primary things we're looking at is finding funding for all this activity that we're trying to generate, looking to generate and to cultivate talent and grow it into this initiative, but also to draw and attract talent from all over the United States and actually from all over the world.
So I am the co-chair along with Amy Brady from KeyBank for the talent and talent development and retention effort. For us, this work stream is just cross-cutting. It cuts across every single node that's a part of the Blockland effort, because what we're really talking about is the identification of what kinds of talent do we really need in order to make this successful.
I co-chair the Legal Node Committee with my friend and colleague Jessica Berg, who's the co-dean of Case Western Reserve Law School. And together what we have done is we have brought together the top experts in blockchain and in technology and all the law firms that we can in Northeast Ohio, particularly in Cleveland, as well as from private companies and even think tanks.
It is clear, it is absolutely clear that we are sitting on the cusp of greatness.
You know, once upon a time, people stored their things in a safe like this in order to keep it secure. Now, some of the things that matter most to us live in a digital space. Our health records, our bank records. What blockchain offers is the ability to have a safe as secure as this one for all of our information. And that's going to really change the way we do business.
As a community, we have the advantage of adversity. We've learned to work together. We've learned to borrow the shovel from our neighbor because we didn't all have a shovel. So because of that, we've gotten used to it, and we've trained on how to work together and rally resources very, very quickly. Within 6 months, we accomplished more than other communities can accomplish in probably 3 or 4 years because of fiefdoms and everything else. Within the medical field, which we absolutely crush other communities on, how can we do medical records? How can we do medical implants? Things like that. And the community will look to us as thought leaders saying, hey, that came out of Cleveland in these regards. We trust it and we believe it.
We're challenged with thinking big and creating an innovation environment that is comparable to some of the top campuses or hubs in the world. You're really kickstarting the move towards creating and building an innovation economy for this region, which I think we're lacking and falling behind, even though some progress has been made. That we need to start evaluating our economy on a regional basis, and that Akron and Cleveland should be cooperating and working more together to grow the regional economy. I think people should understand that we're taking a risk. We're making a big bet, and it's about time we did it, particularly in the economy space and economic development. Instead of being a naysayer, get on board. Participate and take a bet with us.
Look at this amazing city we're sitting in right now. Look at the resources in terms of the corporate involvement, the nonprofit involvement, the foundational involvement, higher ed. We have really critical mass for everything that we're trying to do, and blockchain just fits perfectly into what we're trying to do.
It's a place that is ripe and supportive for entrepreneurs. It's a place that is having wonderful collaboration across industries, across government, across public-private sectors. So the sky's the limit.
So because we have this community of the willing and these leaders who are willing to step out of their own P&Ls for a greater cause, that's why Cleveland. That's Cleveland's story from the very beginning. So for us, it's just doing this, whether it's for blockchain technology or something else. We're pretty good at rising up.
Here's an easy way to understand what an innovation hub is. If you lose your job, you don't lose your parking place. You can go right next door because there's a conglomeration and cluster of different small, medium, and large businesses all focused in on technology, many of which are focused in on blockchain. That's what an innovation corridor is, and that's what we should have and we will have.
It's kind of like blockchain. It's all these nodes connecting with each other, and it just kind of spreads. So for the next gen node, Aaron and I have been very deliberate in making sure we're equally represented, men and women. I think what we're hoping to do with these other nodes is take our members and embed them into every other node. I think it's extremely important that there's a youth voice in every one of these groups because we are the next leaders of Cleveland.
Well, I think the seed grows because we've been long not recognized for our entrepreneurial skills, and we do have them. We just don't get seen because we were called the Rust Belt, all these other negative terms, but we aren't. We're a town on the rebuild. We're going great guns in everything from medical to manufacturing to what's going to be this next round. The whole blockchain Blockland is going to be a building block that I think people are going to get blown away by what's going on in Northeast Ohio. I do wear a political hat in a part-time job, and I think one of the things we got to make sure we do is we don't get in the way of a good idea, that we are supportive, that we will cheer it on, but we don't kind of slow it down by putting too many rules and regulations on the way to success.
So that's where blockchain really presents a great opportunity. If we can globalize this and build the global companies here, then we've changed the game forever. And I think that's enormously important. This is a really unique opportunity. I've been here all my life, and I've never seen an upswelling of younger people so deeply engaged to change. And that's just unprecedented. And I think if we blow this, we all might as well just go back to sleep.
So when people hear about Blockland, what I want them to do is to figure out how to get involved. Not to sit around and say why it won't work or why this won't happen. The reality is we can make it happen, and there's a lot of things that are going really, really well. We have over 1,000 people that are already engaged in this effort. So why not get involved?
If you look at the Blockland effort, the 10 nodes, we have it all. We have all 10 things. This isn't about, hey, we have talent here, we have thought leadership here, we have a great political environment here. We have research here. We have the entire package, and we can deliver for that entrepreneur, that startup, an incredibly low cost of business. So if you're going to go out and do a startup, you're going to do it somewhere. You could burn through $500,000 in Cleveland or $5 million in San Francisco. What's more attractive to you? And then personally, you can pay yourself $60,000 a year and actually have a decent life, or pay yourself $160,000 in San Francisco and have no life, right? So this is the most compelling city. It's a great place to live. We have incredible natural resources. We have everything that a big city like a San Francisco or Chicago or New York has at a fraction of the price, with none of the headaches. We don't have the traffic. We don't have the congestion. We don't have the attitude, right? Cleveland is the place that if you're thinking about starting a company in technology or in blockchain specifically, this is the place to be, hands down.